and here we go from Iowa. Out front, it'll be DJ the Iceman Kenner and Zach Bache. Michael Whiting and Matt Stewart on the second row. Drew Warren and Kevin Coleman on the third row. Brian Mansfield, Chris Stroop on the fourth row. Eddie Baker and Jim Johnson rounding out the top 10. Then Jim Cook and Michael Scruggs, 11th and 12th. 13th is Edmund Jones. Doug McLaughlin is 14th. Dakota Wilson back in 15th. Brandon McLaughlin and Graham Nucky rounding out the field in 16th and 17th. And you see the field lining up on pit road. And pace car is rolling out. $17-car field here tonight, and I can tell you that is a lot of cars on this little track, just 0.85 of a mile. And we will have some great short track racing from here. Coming into tonight, DJ Kenner, who's sitting on the pole right now. He is the points leader, 7 points ahead of Chris Stroop. Dakota Wilson in third, Brian Mansfield in fourth. Edmund Jones and Jason Wiley tied for fifth in points. Then seventh is Jim Johnson, Mike Killenbeck eighth, Zach Bache ninth, and Jonathan Orapollo in 10th. A lot of points positions up for grabs, and a lot of guys really hoping that those top two or three struggle a little bit here tonight, and they have a chance to pick up some positions and get close in on the points. Championship very much still in play. It's only week 6 of 10. Pace car is about to drop off onto pit road. There he goes, and DJ will lead him down. Green flag is in the air. Ought to see a few moves early on. Dakota Wilson already making a move way down on the bottom, starting to make his way to the front. Everybody else is side by side for the moment, except for DJ, who is already out front. Now the tricky part's going to be this first lap off of 4, as looks like everybody kept it going straight, and Brandon McLaughlin had an incident in turn 3, and he is having to roll down. He is not going to pit road, but he is going to lose a ton of time. Let's see if we can see what happened to Brandon. Oh, he got loose into 3 somehow and had to recover that car. Everybody else starting to settle in just a little bit. DJ Kenner out front. Zach Bache still holding on to second. Michael Whiting in third. So far, though, Dakota Wilson is on the move. He started back in 15th, had problems in qualifying. He's up to 11th and battling to fighting his way back into the top 10. Dakota Wilson looking for a way around Jim Johnson. He ducks to the bottom in turn 3. That truck definitely fighting his way forward. He's got the run down underneath of Jim Johnson. Oh, drifts up a little bit, has to get out of the gas to make sure he doesn't get into Jim there. Right in front of him, Brian Mansfield is trying to hold off Chris Stroop and Eddie Baker, who are both closing in on his back bumper. And a lot of sliding coming off turn 4, but everybody managing to keep the trucks going the right way for the moment. Back up front, DJ Kenner has opened up 6/10 of a second lead over Zach Bache. Michael Whiting, another half a second back in third. Matt Stewart right there with him in fourth. Drew Warren now in fifth. Kevin Coleman sixth. Brian Mansfield in seventh. The big battle, though, 8th through about 10th place. Make that about 8 through about the back of the field as they are all battling. Here comes the 29. Eddie Baker down to the bottom. He takes 8th place. Chris Stroop now looking back to the inside. Can he make the move on the bottom? No, he cannot. Jim Johnson looking to the high side. And, Edmund Jones a little bit squirrely off turn 2. Graham Nucky holding a good line, starting to make his way forward as it looked like Jim Cook drove down. It looked like he got loose off of turn 4 and managed to use that to carry some momentum down to the bottom. He's now looking to the inside on Edmund Jones. Tyler McCann cheering on Kevin Coleman, who is now up into 5th. Meanwhile, DJ Kenner, 1.3 seconds ahead. Matt Stewart right behind him in 3rd has closed his gap down to about 0.4 of a second. Drew Warren currently in 4th. Kevin Coleman in 5th, trying to close down that 3/4 of a second gap to 4th. And Dakota Wilson has made his way past Graham Nucky and now up into 10th place. Trying to run down Chris Stroop. Dakota extremely fast in practice. Problems in qualifying started him back in 15th, but he is slowly but surely making his way forward. Mason Neal cheering on Kevin Coleman and Eddie Baker, and hi. What up, Mason? Back up front, most of the leaders have put some distance. I cannot get over Zach Bache's Woody there, the old Woody style paint scheme. That is pretty cool. Matt Stewart now to 3rd, starting to close the gap just a little bit on Zach Bache. Drew Warren now to 4th. Kevin Coleman still back into 5th. Brian Mansfield lurking in 6th place. Eddie Baker now up to 7th. Jim Johnson now up to 8th. Brian Mansfield in 10th. And here, look, Graham Nucky is down there on the bottom. He is fighting for position as well. Tyler Robertson cheering on Eddie and Kevin as well tonight. Kevin Coleman and Eddie Baker have the biggest fan club tonight. Eddie Baker currently trying to hold off Jim Johnson. Michael Whiting has gone to the pits. It looks like he might have had an incident. Let's see what happened. Maybe he got loose off of turn 4. And trying to see. We may not have gotten a... Not sure what happened with Michael Whiting. He just kind of disappeared there for a bit. DJ Kenner has now got around Brandon McLaughlin. Brandon being scored, I believe, 2 laps down at this point. No, 1 lap down. And Michael Whiting now 8 laps down for whatever the incident was with him. It looked like it might have been a connection issue. Zach Bache in second, now 2.5 seconds back. And that is not, everybody slowed down a little bit, but DJ Kenner is just that fast here tonight. Every time we've come to Iowa, DJ has been one to watch. He runs away with it. Kevin Coleman in 5th. Jim Johnson now up to 7th, battling with Eddie Baker. Chris Stroop currently in 9th. Graham Nucky up to 10th now. Dakota Wilson, who had been charging his way forward, looks like he might have used those tires up a little bit too soon. He is now back in 12th. Edmund Jones up to 11th. And Nick Hurley cheering on Zach Bache, who is having an amazing run here tonight. You heard him say in the pre-race he actually had gotten in a couple of extra hours of practice when they had the practice session earlier, letting everybody have a chance to try out the setup for tonight, and definitely paying off for Zach, currently in second and holding Matt Stewart off for the moment. And we should see the first round of green flag pit stops here in about 10 to 15 laps. And meanwhile, the front group is starting to close back up together. Everybody except DJ Kenner, who's just run away with it. He has now got an almost 4-second lead over second place. And Matt Stewart currently in 3rd is closed back up. Drew Warren right there with him. Kevin Coleman right there with him. Brian Mansfield right there with him. So 2nd through 6th, all within about 1.5 seconds currently. Jim Johnson was with this group. He has lost quite a bit of ground as he has had to battle his way through more traffic, but now he is up to 7th and trying to close that gap back down. He is currently 3 seconds behind Brian Mansfield, who is in 6th. Eddie Baker now currently running in 8th. Chris Stroop in 9th. Graham Nucky is 10th. Edmund Jones right there with him in 11th. Dakota Wilson trying to hang on till the pit stop, currently running in 12th. Doug McLaughlin in 13th. Jim Cook is in 14th. And Brandon McLaughlin is in 15th. Michael Scruggs currently 2 laps down, and it looks like he went to pit road just a couple of laps ago. Might be trying a different strategy here. Might be trying to see what he can do with fresh tires. Maybe short pitting, willing to take that extra pit stop. Looking at DJ Kenner's lap times, he is 1.3 seconds slower than his fastest lap right now. DJ currently running, his last lap was a 24.9. Let's see what it is at the line. 24.88. And Michael Scruggs on those fresh tires. We'll see how quickly he is. Let's see how much ground he can make up. That time by, he was at a 24.4, so a full half of a second faster than the leader, DJ Kenner. Scruggs currently 2 laps down after the pit stop. We'll see how much of that he can regain before everybody else comes to pit road. That might play to his advantage if the strategy works out. If the timing works out, he would carry the most momentum and the most speed. Zach Bache still holding on to second. Matt Stewart right there with him. Now this pack, this is 7th through 6th place right now, all right there under a blanket. Zach Bache still managing to hold everybody off behind him. Matt Stewart now coming under attack from Drew Warren. Drew Warren can't make anything happen. Brian Mansfield looking low. Brian Mansfield now up into 5th, trying to make something happen there. Drew Warren, and the Iceman comes to pit road. DJ Kenner gives up a over 6 second lead and comes to pit road at lap 30. Looks like several of these guys are going to try and 3-stop this. Edmund Jones came to pit road. Now, Zach Bache, I do believe this is the first time he has led under green flag conditions this season. So huge shout out to Zach. Came into this season not being great at ovals. This league has helped him, and he is definitely learning and improving every single week. His finishes and points definitely starting to show it. As Matt Stewart crosses over for the lead, Zach Bache is looking low. He is coming to pit road. Will Matt Stewart stay out? Matt stays out. Drew stays out. These top 4 all stay out as Zach Bache hits pit road. Green flag pit stops well and truly underway. Graham Nucky, Dakota Wilson, Jim Cook, Doug McLaughlin, all also on pit road. Matt Stewart, though, is in the lead as Edmund Jones rolls up off of pit road. And Matt Stewart, despite being out there on the older tires and with that group, he has actually started to pull away from Brian Mansfield in 2nd, Kevin Coleman in 3rd, Chris Stroop in 4th. As we're starting to see more cars hit pit road. Matt Stewart is going to give up the lead and come to pit road. Brian Mansfield comes to pit road. Kevin Coleman, Chris Stroop comes to pit road. Eddie Baker comes to pit road. And DJ, the Iceman Kenner, after green flag pit stops complete, should cycle through to the lead. And as DJ comes around, he is passing all the cars exiting pit road now and reassumes the lead. Zach Bache currently being scored in 2nd place, but lost a lot of Matt Stewart is being scored in 2nd place as he rolls off of pit road. I think Zach will actually come around him here. He will. Zach Bache maintaining 2nd place. Matt Stewart to 3rd. Kevin Coleman to 4th. Drew Warren to 5th, Brian Mansfield 6th, Eddie Baker 7th, Jim Johnson 8th, 9th is Chris Stroop, and Graham Nucky is 10th. Now with DJ out front again, he has a almost 15-second lead over Zach Bache, but he has got some lap traffic in front of him, one of which is Jim Cook. That is not going to be an easy truck to pass. Neither is Graham Nucky, who is right in front of Jim. Graham Nucky currently in 10th place. Jim Cook currently in 11th place. Now DJ about to have his hands full, and while he is battling, once he gets into that lap traffic, it should give Zach Bache a little bit of ground he might be able to make up here. It does not look like DJ Kenner is pushing very hard, though, right now. It looks like he might just be holding steady, trying to keep those 2-lap cars behind him and making sure he doesn't have to battle those other 2 cars in front of him too soon. Meanwhile, Zach Bache in 2nd has over a 1-second lead over Matt Stewart in 3rd. Kevin Coleman now up to 4th place. Drew Warren back to 5th. Brian Mansfield right there in 6th place. Eddie Baker currently in 7th, 1 second behind them. Jim Johnson in 8th, right there with him as well. Chris Stroop definitely lost a lot of ground on pit road. He is now back to 9th. Graham Nucky is in 10th, and Jim Cook in 11th. And if you look at that gap from DJ back to Chris, he is not... DJ slowed down enough. He is actually letting the lap cars back by. He's letting Dakota Wilson get clear here. Dakota Wilson to the bottom. And for a short track, this does tend to have quite a lot of green flag racing. Now we're almost halfway. We may not see a caution tonight. We have not seen one yet. And now Dakota Wilson back to the lead lap. DJ just using him as a drafting partner down the front straightaway. Zach Bache in second. Matt Stewart has closed that gap down to about a half a second. Kevin Coleman now 1 second behind. Scruggs is up in the wall. Michael Scruggs is really slow off of turn number 2. We'll have to keep an eye on him. I don't see any damage to that truck. Let's see if we can get a better look at it. Not seeing any significant damage to the 28 truck, but he is definitely slower. And remember, he did pit before everybody else, so his tires probably starting to fall off right about now. Zach Bache, Matt Stewart out trying to close down that gap. They have actually closed down a full second on DJ Kenner now. Actually, just over a second if they don't battle too much, as Matt Stewart looks to the inside for second. Everybody's been out on these fresh tires long enough. They shouldn't be getting loose off turn 4. Everybody makes it through there cleanly. Zach Bache a little bit high, gets it down, avoids the bump. And that little bit of an exchange, they lost 0.2 of a second on the leader. So hopefully they can stay nose to tail and start closing back down on DJ. Matt Stewart currently in second. Zach Bache now to third. Kevin Coleman back there in fourth with a lap car in front of him. He can use for drafting help here in the next few seconds. Drew Warren in fifth. Brian Mansfield right there with him in sixth place. Jim Johnson goes past Eddie Baker for seventh. Eddie's not done yet. Let's take a ride with Eddie. As he comes off turn 4, you see how high you have to drift up there. And remember, they're about 15 laps into the run, and he's going to get the bump. There you see that bump, and it doesn't look like much from our angle, but I promise you, in that truck, he was a bit worried when he hit that bump. It unsettles the truck tremendously. As he comes up off turn 4, you see it wiggle just a little bit, just a little loose on the throttle. Now he gets a better line down through 1 and 2, gets that late apex, gets back on the throttle, and they have to drive this track like there's eggs under the pedal. You have to be very gentle. Eddie Baker doing a great job of saving that truck and making it last. Jim Johnson, so far the biggest mover of the night. He is up 3 spots from started in 10th. He is up to 7th. No, I stand corrected. There's the biggest mover of the night. Started in 17th, up to 10th. We've talked about him the last couple of weeks, how much he's been improving. And I can tell you, Graham Nucky says the same thing every time I ask him, what is making you improve so much? And he says, this great group of guys, everybody I run with, they help me a lot. They teach me a lot. They help me when I'm struggling. And he's extremely humble about it, but that man is coming forward and getting a lot better. I fully expect to see him battling for a top spot in the points next season and battling for a win, getting a win before the end of the night. Before the end of the season, excuse me. Kevin Coleman now up into third place. He has gotten past Zach Bache. Right behind, there is Zach right behind him. Then you got Drew Warren and Brian Mansfield, who just came around the lap car. I believe that was McLaughlin, Doug McLaughlin. And DJ Kenner's lead has now shrunk. Matt Stewart, Kevin Coleman are starting to run him down. DJ's lead is now down to 12 seconds. Kevin Coleman in third. He is starting to close in on Matt Stewart as well. Zach Bache in fourth. About to have his hands full with Drew Warren and Brian Mansfield. As now we're about to have a side-by-side battle. Drew Warren, Brian Mansfield looking to the bottom. Mansfield trying to take, and looks like into one. He does take fifth, but Drew Warren, he's going to do the crossover move. Coming off of turn two, he's going to have the bottom. He's got the nose inside. He can keep Mansfield up high, but that bottom line is extremely tough to hold on to with these worn tires, and it looks like Mansfield might be able to hold him. Oh, Mansfield pulls down with a power move as he starts to look for Zach Bache. Mansfield fighting Drew Warren right behind him, now trying to take fourth away from Zach Bache. As they battle side by side, don't forget this week, Tuesday night, XCal Street Stocks return. This week they are at the road course at Daytona. Brian Mansfield now for fourth, down to the bottom. The XCal Street Stocks return Tuesday night at the Daytona road course. That is going to be one heck of a race, folks. Side by side, Zach Bache has done an amazing job holding these guys off and having a heck of a run here tonight. And the Iceman is on pit road early. DJ Kenner goes to pit road 2 laps earlier than his last run. His first run was 30 laps. He drops down to pit road on lap 58. Matt Stewart now assuming the lead. Dakota Wilson's on pit road. Doug McLaughlin also coming to pit road. Looks like we've got some guys short pitting here to pick up some speed. Matt Stewart maintains the lead. He has got almost 3 seconds over Kevin Coleman in second. Brian Mansfield now in third is starting to pull away from Drew Warren. Zach Bache currently holding on to 5th place. Jim Johnson back there in 6th, and Chris Stroop in 7th. The whole pack starting to spread out, but it's about to get interesting as we start the second round of green flag pit stops. Kevin Coleman now on pit road. And DJ Kenner is back up off of pit road. And you see he gets that little wiggle up off of turn 4. With those fresh tires, he is just driving away from Matt Stewart. He has unlapped himself before Matt has even gone to pit road. So DJ Kenner now back at the tail end of the lead lap, but he is on the lead lap. And he has already picked off Edmund Jones. Edmund Jones taps the wall there. Matt Stewart still staying out. He has been stretching that fuel as long as he can. He's going to go by one more time. And I can tell you these guys are loving their Majors Garage setup shop setups for these trucks, for the Cup cars. Using those setups, it is going to make things a lot more exciting. These guys are overall going to be a lot faster, and that's going to make the racing a lot more intense. As here comes Matt Stewart to lap Edmund Jones. Edmund currently in 11th, and Graham Nucky is picking up positions, now up to 8th. Dakota Wilson on fresh tires, working his way forward as well. A little bit of an issue there. Dakota Wilson down on the apron to get past the 2 cars in front of him, Edmund Jones and leader Matt Stewart. Dakota has to go to the apron on the back straightaway. Edmund Jones comes to pit road. Edmund Jones looks like he is trying to stretch this thing as far as he can, make it a one-stop race from here. If he can make it another, I think, about another lap, maybe 2 laps, he should be able to go the distance on fuel. Let's see how long Matt Stewart's last run was. He's gone 32 laps. He went 34 laps the first time. He can go the distance from here on fuel. Some of these guys will have to stop at least one more time. Zach Bache, Jim Cook, and Graham Nucky all on pit road now. Matt Stewart stretching this as far as he can. But DJ Kenner has completely unlapped himself and now 15 seconds behind the leader. Drew Warren comes to pit road. Matt Stewart might have the strategy play of the day as he gives up the lead and comes to pit road. Brian Mansfield staying out a little bit longer. Jim Johnson comes to pit road. Chris Stroop is on pit road. And now DJ Kenner is going to be up to second place, and he will make his way as soon as Brian Mansfield pits. DJ Kenner will reassume the lead. Is Mansfield pitting here? He is. He slows down. Graham Nucky, a little bit of a close call there. And DJ Kenner will come around and reassume the lead. However, here comes the interesting little bit of this. DJ Kenner will have to stop one more time. Matt Stewart, as he comes out off of pit road now, does not have to stop again. Matt Stewart currently running in 5th. But if a caution were to come out, a lot of guys, Brian Mansfield finally gives up the lead and goes to pit road. Eddie Baker now goes to pit road. And if a caution comes out now, a lot of good cars will be trapped one lap down. This could get very interesting. Everybody out there is just crossing their fingers, hoping this thing stays green to the end so they have a chance to come back around DJ Kenner. Edmund Jones, who is currently 2 laps down, is running on pace and closing in on the Iceman. Matt Stewart now up to 3rd. 27 laps to go, and he is about to unlap himself. He is closed in on DJ. And everybody that pitted there in the last few laps, they can all go the distance on fuel from here, whereas DJ Kenner cannot. Taking a quick look at some pit strategy here. Kenner has already been out there 15 laps. Coleman has already been out there 13 laps. But Stewart has only been out there 5 laps. Stewart, Bache, and Warren, and Mansfield and Stroop will not have to pit again. Kenner, Coleman, and Wilson all will have to pit one more time. But remember, folks, that anytime if a caution comes out, that could change everything. Matt Stewart has unlapped himself. There's only 3 trucks on the lead lap right now. DJ Kenner, Kevin Coleman, and Matt Stewart. Zach Bache is the first car 1 lap down. If the caution came out, he would get the lucky dog. Drew Warren is in 5th. Brian Mansfield 6th. Dakota Wilson 7th. Jim Johnson currently in 8th. In 9th, and Graham Nucky in 10th. Brian Mansfield in 6th place. Kevin Coleman is right at 20 seconds behind the leader. A lap of the track currently taking about 24 to 25 seconds. But if he can whittle away at it just a little bit, he will be right where he needs to be when DJ comes to pit road. But he can only go about 5 laps further than DJ. Matt Stewart, however, if he can continue to close in on these two, once they both go to pit road, he will be in the catbird seat. The only problem is Matt Stewart's going to be out there on old tires after these guys get fresh tires. That could throw things into a tailspin for everybody if they can get out there and run him down. There's a lot of strategy being played out here tonight. Zach Bache currently running in 4th. He's got a nice gap in front and behind. He can run his race. Drew Warren, though, has Brian Mansfield as Scruggs gets up in the wall in turn 3. Drew Warren and Brian Mansfield, we've seen this battle playing out all night. They might want to worry. Chris Stroop is faster than both of them and closing in on them. Jim Johnson in 8th. He is right there with Chris in 7th place. And I'm not sure what happened to Scruggs, but he is having all sorts of problems tonight. Dakota Wilson, who started back in 15th place, has already gotten up into 9th. Graham Nucky started 17th, currently running in 10th. Edmund Jones currently in 11th. Eddie Baker is in 12th. Doug McLaughlin 13th. 14th is Brandon McLaughlin. Scruggs with an ailing race car is in 15th. Jim Cook just trying to hold on to it, currently running in 16th, and Michael Whiting appears to be done for the night. DJ Kenner, 18 laps to go, but he will have to stop one more time. The top 2, DJ Kenner, Matt Stewart, both have to stop one more time. No, Matt Stewart does not, and Matt Stewart is taken 2nd. Kevin Coleman, however, does have to pit one more time. And now that Matt Stewart is up to 2nd place, he is closing the gap on DJ Kenner. Matt Stewart, since taking 2nd place, has already closed down 2 seconds. Kevin Coleman has ducked onto pit road for his final pit stop. Zach Bache assumes 3rd, Drew Warren to 4th, Brian Mansfield to 5th. And with Coleman hitting pit road, he is the first of those guys we know have to stop one more time. He is the first one to go to pit road. We'll see how much ground he can make up with fresh tires in 15 laps. DJ Kenner's got to be thinking about when he is going to pit and see if he can balance it out to not lose too much time. What tire strategy will he take? And will he have enough speed to get back to the lead? So far, though, it looks like Matt Stewart's strategy is going to pay off here tonight. Kevin Coleman now back out on off pit road, currently being scored in 12th, 2 laps down. And now we'll see how much he can close up on them. And it looks like, based on his pit time, he took right side tires only. Zach Bache and Drew Warren and Brian Mansfield battling for 3rd, 4th, and 5th right there. Drew Warren down to the bottom. Now Mansfield looking to the bottom here. Edmund Jones is coming to pit road. DJ Kenner gives up the lead. He comes to pit road. Matt Stewart will reassume the lead next time by. Kevin Coleman is currently running over half a second faster than Matt Stewart. Remember, he was the first one to hit pit road for this final stop. Matt Stewart, Zach Bache, Brian Mansfield, Drew Warren, none of these guys will have to stop. Dakota Wilson, Edmund Jones have been to pit road and they have left. DJ Kenner now off pit road. And he looks like he took a 4-tire stop. He's currently in 7th, but he is 17 seconds back from Matt Stewart. And with 10 laps to go, that might be an insurmountable. He'll have to be at least almost 2 seconds a lap faster. Matt Stewart having an 8.2 second lead over Brian Mansfield. Drew Warren still right there with him. Kevin Coleman making his way through the field, currently up to 9th. He has fresher tires, trying to pick up any positions he can. Looking for Graham Nucky on the track, who is about a half a lap ahead right now. DJ Kenner, though, he is dropping to the bottom. He is up to 7th now and looking for 6th from Chris Stroop. He is going to take it in turn 1. Now he's going to go looking for Jim Johnson, who's not that far ahead. The gap to the leader. Now 15 seconds. 7 laps to go. Kevin Coleman is gaining on Graham Nucky and all the cars in front of him extremely quickly. He's got 8 seconds to Graham Nucky, 15 seconds to Chris Stroop. We'll see if one of these guys' tire strategy ends up paying off here. Right now, Matt Stewart stretching fuel, stretching miles. Currently lost a little bit of time, still right at an 8-second gap. Back to 2nd place, Brian Mansfield, and 3rd place, Drew Warren. Zach Bache currently holding on to 4th. His Goldenite was a top 5 finish, and he might just pull it off here. But Iceman DJ Kenner now up to 5th. 12 seconds is the gap to Matt Stewart. Last time he was over a second a lap faster than Matt Stewart. Over a second lap faster than Zach Bache, Drew Warren, and Brian Mansfield. Everybody in front of him, but with 3 laps to go, he'll get Zach Bache. Will he have enough time to get to Drew Warren, though? And it could be one thing getting to Drew. It might be a totally different thing getting around him. Matt Stewart is going to come down and get 2 laps to go here. What a move. What a brilliant strategy by Matt Stewart. He went further than anybody on both stops. He has stretched the mileage as far as he could, and now it looks like he is going to pull off a dominant win here tonight. DJ Kenner now up to fourth, has Drew Warren in his sights. White flag is in the air for Matt Stewart. DJ won't be able to get to him. Will he be able to get that third place spot from Drew Warren? Drew Warren really fighting on the bottom, but those older tires can't hold him off. The Iceman gets to third place, probably as far as he can. Matt Stewart is the winner tonight. Brian Mansfield is going to pull off the second place finish. DJ, the Iceman Kenner, third. Drew Warren, fourth. Zach Baish's best finish on asphalt comes in fifth tonight. He'll make up a lot of points tonight. Jim Johnson is sixth. Chris Stroop comes home seventh. Kevin Coleman made that last lap or late race stop, managed to pick up enough spots. He's back up to eighth. Graham Nucky, another top 10 finish, comes home ninth. Eddie Baker is 10th. Dakota Wilson 11th. Edmund Jones is 12th. Doug McLaughlin 13th. Jim Cook comes home 14th. 15th is Brandon McLaughlin. Michael Scruggs comes in 16th here tonight. And look at Matt Stewart celebrate. Let's see if we can talk to him. And it looks like Brian Mansfield has hopped into the booth. Brian, congratulations. That was a bit of an interesting strategy you boys took.
Yeah, we was kind of worried about fuel there at the end. We knew DJ and Kevin had pitted early, and no way they were going to make it to the end. We'd have to stop again when they stopped that stop before the last one. I screwed up that first pit stop and slid past my pit box, and thank goodness was able to gain back some ground. But good job to Matt. It was an awesome race, green to checkered here at Iowa on a short track. You can't get no better than that. Everybody gave each other room, and phenomenal race. Thank you to our sponsor of the series, Combs Family Museum and Shelby, North Carolina. If you're ever in Shelby, stop by and see my buddy Phil Combs. And also thank you to Major's Garage for the awesome setups we ran tonight. But it was a good race, Doug. Awesome race.
It was a lot of fun to watch, especially there at the end with the strategy game playing out.
Yeah, there was several different strategies in play, and I think everybody, some of the strategies was hoping that a caution would come out, but and almost got one there at the end. Somebody spun to the infield there at the flag stand, and when I came by, I said, oh, God, there's supposed to be a caution. But they stayed off the track, so we stayed green. And like I said, congratulations to Matt. Awesome win.
And Matt Stewart has joined us. Matt, you went further than anybody on fuel tonight. Did you know after that first stop you could two-stop this race?
Oh, yeah, that was the plan from the beginning. I in lap 35, so I made it to 35 and made it a two-stop race. I'd like to thank DJ for pitting early. I don't know what he was doing, but I thought he might have been fast enough to pit and have an extra pit stop and still catch us all.
Well, he was definitely he pitted with about 15 to go and was definitely running you guys down. But by that point in time, you had just opened up such a big lead. Even if he had gotten by Mansfield, he would not have caught you. You had over 8 seconds.
Yeah, I mean that dude's scary on any short track, so I like running him. Yeah, thanks to everybody for having a clean race. That was fun.
Well, you had a heck of a win tonight. Congratulations, man, and brilliant strategy.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
All right. What an interesting end to the night. What a heck of a race. Congratulations to Matt Stewart. Dakota said he almost finished last for Skylar Massey. Just couldn't get it done, though. He ended up coming in 11th, and a really good recovery. As a couple of notes, Graham Nucky, who started dead last, came home in 9th place. Heck of a run for Graham. Zach Baish's best asphalt race so far, so great job to him. And I know he's mentioned getting a lot of help out there. And of course, DJ Kenner, still not sure what was up with the strategy move, as you heard Matt say, but man, it worked out great. And Matt Stewart definitely pulled off a heck of a run here tonight. He had the best strategy on the night and just managed to pull off with an 8-second win. Green to checkers, no cautions at Iowa on a short track. What a run tonight for the Outlaws. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern. We will have the Dirt doubleheader. Tuesday night, XCal Street Stocks return from the Daytona Road Course. That is definitely going to be interesting. Wednesday night, we'll be back with the Outlaw National HDD Cup Series and the limited late models as well. So one heck of a night there as well. Definitely looking forward to all the racing this week and a lot more to come. Thank you guys for all tuning in tonight. I hope you guys had fun. Don't forget to share, like, follow, subscribe. Go check out the YouTube page. All the videos, all the races are there as well. You can find the link at htsai.net. And yeah, all the past races are on the YouTube channel, so you can go check that out. This race will be on YouTube before too much longer. Hope you guys had a great night. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful evening.